Hey everyone, welcome back to the Keep Watching podcast, where we decide what to watch so you don't have to. I'm James,
And I'm Sarah.
and today we're going to be talking about Singles Inferno 4, episodes 11 and 12, the finale. Sarah, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Hey, happy 100th episode. We
Oh
did
yeah, I
100 of
guess
these
this is
things.
100. Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, this is the 100th episode. Oh, we timed it all perfectly for this.
Oh yeah,
For
yeah,
this. For
definitely.
this.
Totally on purpose.
Glad we didn't do it on purpose, because otherwise it'd be for this. We did it for this. Yeah, wow, what a season.
Yeah. It tried to have some twists and turns, I guess, and then here we are. Yeah.
Like I said in the last podcast, if what they are telling us it's going to be at the end of episode 10 ends up what it's going to be at the episode 12, I have nothing more to say. And that very much came across in my notes, which are significantly shorter than usual.
Yeah, my notes are also kind of scarce this time, but I got a couple things. I got some stuff to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna need some help on what to talk about
All
here.
right.
So yeah. I wrote down some general comments. People say this season is boring. Agree,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
People think I'm too hard on Sion. Strongly disagree, but okay.
I don't disagree.
Only from the standpoint that I don't actually think I'm being hard on her, other than the triple threat match, which I'm very consistent across the 2 seasons that I complained about that. So it's not even anything
Okay.
personal against Sion. It's just I don't like this move, and you know,
Okay.
everything else. Everything else, this is something actually tangible that she did, and I could be like, this was her decision as a person.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime we criticize anybody else in the show when it comes to like what they're saying, it's literally like, I guess we don't say this enough. It's literally like them as a character on this TV show, because there's a good chance the TV show is not representing them necessarily correctly.
As an actual
but
person.
I have to judge them as they are the character on the show,
Right.
and that's who I'm critiquing. Whether or not they are that person, 100%, I don't know. But this is what we got to work with.
Yeah, exactly. Do our best.
And then Peaches is a daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Gave a very detailed explanation of when and how Sion became more interested in Jinsaw, which I thought was pretty good. If you want to go read that in the YouTube comments. And they summarized Sion in a nicer way, which is Sion is a bit of an unreliable narrator. Peaches is a daredevil. How dare you? How dare you talk negatively about Sion, our Lord and Savior? How dare you? How dare you? That's too far.
Oh yes, so harsh.
I can somewhat see that, like, it's when we're complaining about her not being able to tell us what she's looking for, or it's not lining up with her actions. You could be like, okay, she's a bad narrator. But I think I've complained about things that definitely are action. It's not just her in confessional, but we don't have to rehash that. It's fine.
Okay,
Or
right.
we could just rehash it once we get to new things I can complain about in this episode.
Which, there are in this episode.
There are. Okay. Oh, you're with me. There are actually things to complain about in this episode.
I mean, I just assume. Yeah, sure.
You just assume
that
okay.
you would, in being the consistent you, the way she continues to
Sion doesn't trigger
will
you?
continue to.
Sion doesn't
I'm
trigger
kind
you.
of
That's
over
fine.
it.
She triggers me hard.
I'm busy being triggered elsewhere.
Okay.
And I'm still busy being bothered by our little evil Prince DJ. So that's where
you're fortunate enough that he's not the entire fucking TV show. I have to deal with this. She is the entire show, especially these 2 episodes where nothing else fucking matters.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Anything else you want to say before we get into this?
No, let's
So we left off with Sia and Halen and Yujin are picking guys in that order to take to paradise. But we're gonna backtrack an hour before we get to that.
Yes, we missed out on all the girls fighting over time with Dong-ho before.
None of that fucking matters. Because very beginning of the episode, pretty much, we're gonna have Dong-ho's gonna break up with Yujin, and then Dong-ho's gonna break up with Halen. And now the Dong-ho storyline has no intrigue whatsoever.
I love how hard production tried to be like, "Ooh, what intrigue is gonna happen with Dong Ho?
Yeah,
All these girls going
they
after him," and
knew
he's
they
just
didn't
like,
have shit this season.
"Yeah,
You know they
hey,
knew.
he remains top tier boy on this season for me though, because he's just like, hey, let me be honest with you. I don't think things are gonna change. I'm into this other girl, so it's up to
I
you if you want
mean,
to
other
waste your
guys
pick
did the
on
same
me."
thing, but it's fine. Okay. I actually don't think did any guy. I feel like everybody was pretty upfront. I mean,
There was a lot of upfront this season, yeah.
Dongsu like got caught up in like the whole being nice, and then he didn't like say it as harshly. But I mean, even Dongho like he sat on this for a couple days before
He
he
sat on it for
broke up.
a day.
Was it one day?
Like it was one day.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah. Like he got
There's multiple
basically
episodes,
well,
so
yeah, it's
it
multiple
felt like a
episodes,
long
but
time. I don't know.
it's been one day.
Yeah.
Basically, yesterday these two women showed up out of nowhere, went, "Hey, have feelings about you," and he wait, what? I didn't. I'm too shocked to talk right now. Let's talk about it later. And then the next time he talks with them, he's like, "No, I'm out." So
Yeah. But here's my thing. I don't even have a problem. I don't even have a problem if Dong Ho wants to keep feeling it out. Like that, I don't even think like it's bad to do that on the show.
yeah. But I mean, if he has essentially made up his mind, and then it's just like trying to be nice and not being direct with them, I prefer this approach over that.
Do you?
Basically, yeah.
As like a person or as a viewer of the show?
Yes.
Just both? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because it made the end of the show extremely boring and gave production nothing to work with.
Well,
So I don't know.
yeah.
I I mean, Halen ends up picking him anyway. I mean,
Hmm.
production could have just not shown it. That's the other like kind of weird thing. It's like I don't know why. I don't know. It's
Well,
almost just
Halen,
lazy, right? Like just like don't show us the breakup
but
and then
Halen
show
looked
them having a good
super
time on the date.
bummed. Like, did they have a good time on the date though, or did she look super bummed every shot we saw?
You could make it look okay. I don't know. I
Like,
mean,
there was. I thought there was a visible difference in the way she held and presented
probably
herself
yeah.
from normal to on that date, and that would have been really weird if we didn't have the context of Dong Ho being directly like shutting things down with her.
Yeah. They could show us later, but I don't know. The host would have tried to convince us. I don't know. It's just, yeah. I wrote in my notes after this. How are there still 2 episodes of this TV show left? Like we're like 5 minutes into episode 11. Like
Yeah.
how are we about to watch 2 more? Now it's more than 2 hours. It's more than two. It's 3 hours, right? 3 hours
Yeah.
of TV still left to go, and it's one person's decision, and it's between two people that I don't really care who she
Hmm.
picks at this point.
I think they definitely like got stuck where they were committed to doing so many episodes up front, and then this is how everything turned out, and they had to stretch it out, and it's a bummer.
I think we pointed out earlier season, like, oh, they've actually gotten more episodes
Yeah.
every season. I wonder if
Hmm.
Netflix is going to take away episodes after this one.
I think it would be a good move.
I wrote down stuff at the end. Actually, most of my notes, or not most of it, but a chunk of my notes is just like, how can we make the show better?
Hmm.
And my first thing I wrote is the show too long? Is that a
Yeah,
problem?
probably. Yeah.
Yeah, and not just necessarily in terms of episodes, but are they out there too long? I'm not sure.
Mm.
Would it be more interesting if they didn't have the time to decide, and it was more? I don't know. It's tough.
Mm. Maybe.
But I think all the seasons have been about the same length, though, in terms of time, right? Haven't they?
I
Like
think so.
it was like
Yeah.
9 days season one. I haven't followed the
I think
days
there was
as
10
well.
days this season.
10 days.
So
Okay, maybe they
yeah.
go back. Maybe they did one day too many. Maybe I don't know. Dongho, yeah, Dongho doesn't say "don't pick me," right? Do you actually have a problem with what Halen does here when we get to
No, because he
selections?
does specifically say he's like, I just want you to make an informed decision, which is that this isn't going to change anything. But I think he says it to both of them. You earned your like privilege to pick who you want for a date, so it's fine if you do pick me. And
Yeah, yeah,
so
that's what I
everything's
felt.
fine.
I think it's fine. It's fine.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's not like she like it's good that she has all the information available to her, but it's not like she had a backup to go to. So yeah, of course she's gonna
and it's
go
not like
pick him.
she's not taking the date from Eugen. Like if he only broke up with her and was like,
Well, she doesn't know unless they shared that information with each
oh yeah, I'm
other.
saying if Dongho said something like, "You're third on my list, and you have no chance," and but I'm kind of still thinking about Eugen.
Oh yeah.
If I don't know, if he said, "I'd prefer if you let me go to Eugen,"
Yeah, that would be
then
different.
you have a problem with it? Yeah, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, that would be different. But I think it's pretty clear to everyone who he's actually into, so it's
Yeah, I'll say.
very, very clear.
It's been clear for a while.
Hmm.
Yeah, Cien. Okay, so Cien actually picks Jongsu. The only
Yes.
interesting thing that maybe happens in these 2 episodes. Uh, Jongsu doesn't look that excited about this. That's what I wrote when he was
Does he?
his
Well, does
reaction.
he ever look super excited though? Maybe he
Maybe
does.
not. Maybe
I don't
not. I
know.
don't know. But he looked very not excited about this, or he was just trying to act cool for the guys. I'm not sure what was
No,
going
well,
on.
I think that lines up with then like how their date goes, and he is kind of weird about the helicopter ride that morning where she was leaning on Jensu's shoulder, and I that maybe that's part of this face is he's maybe feeling his way, getting his way through those feelings of like weird jealousy or whatever, and is I don't know, not vibing in the moment.
But like, he's still going to pick her in the end, and that's his person, right? Like
Yeah, but he's
you're getting
also
selected after she's gone on 2 days. I don't know.
yeah.
Me personally, I'd be like, let's go. Finally got one. Fuck yeah. But nah. Also, I also think, did they just like run the? Did they? Is this cast like staying up later than they should be, or is like production actually like making them do more, and that's why they're all exhausted? I think the exhaustion
Hmm.
has definitely fed into the they're physically exhausted, right? But also
Mm-hmm.
they feel like, I don't want to think about this anymore. Let me just go break up with the person that I like.
Yeah.
They're deciding even earlier than they normally do because they're too exhausted to think about it anymore.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And then Yujin picks Jonghoon, which was very disappointing. I thought we could at least make it spicy if he if she had picked
He
Theo,
stayed
but
with
no.
yeah, yeah.
Completely
Well, her first two picks
ruining
were picked,
the
and so
double
she's
date
just like,
scenario.
oh yeah, yeah.
The double date, the
Scenario
double
would
date
have been great.
was taken away from us. So this became,
Yeah.
see, we tried in the last podcast to make this show more interesting than it was, and the reality is it just wasn't interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, Yujin wasn't ready to give up and just do a fun pick. Like she thought she might be interested in, at least this is what she said in confessional, Jonghoon a little bit. So she's grasping at straws on the end, just trying to figure something out. So it makes sense.
It seems like Jong Hoon never really saw Yujin romantically at all. Like, Yujin voted for him. I guess he didn't know
Hmm.
that, but he's going to find that out. And then,
Yeah.
but he picked the other two
Yeah,
girls
he
that voted
didn't
for
pick
him.
her
He
for
never
yeah.
picked her,
Hmm.
and the way that this date's going to go is like kind of in a funny way, I guess. They were laughing a lot. I just thought it was a little silly, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Hmm.
Here we go. Okay, Paradise. Let's
All
just
right.
want to do Halen. Anything about Halen and Dongho?
Yeah, she just looks bummed the whole time.
Okay,
And
fair.
yeah. And he's just really laying it out there that, like basically Arn got there first and he didn't look back. So he has behaved accordingly the entire time.
I mean, he picked. Well, Orange showed up first. Yeah, that's true.
But I
Then,
mean, like in terms of somebody like he felt a connection with or got close to with, like she was the first one, and
oh, okay. Yeah,
that's it.
he picked Aaron the first time he got to select, but Aaron didn't pick him.
Hmm.
And then he was like, "I guess I'm not
He was
talking to her
about to
anymore."
pivot, but
And
then
then,
like they had the chocolate time, and then she
yeah,
expressed her interest in him, and he was like, "Oh, okay, let's go."
yeah.
Before he got to fully
Good on
pivot to
Aaron. Good on
Eugen.
Aaron. Let's go.
Yeah. Hmm.
I'll give Aaron the credit there. All right. Yeah, Dongo says he would have done the same thing in her position as Halen. So then Halen asked if she has a 0% chance in the next 2 days. Dongo doesn't say yes to this. Again, I'm fine with it, but it's actually like kind of harsh to be like, yeah, you have a 0% chance. So it's like unnecessarily mean. I actually to say
Well,
that, but he
if
essentially
somebody
says
asks you that specifically, like you just gotta give them a direct answer.
oh, so you think he didn't give a direct enough an answer?
No, I think he gave a direct enough answer.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. I think his answer was good. I don't think it was him saying, "Oh, you have a 0% chance." I don't think he really answered it like that, but it was more like, "I don't think so," or something. Yeah. He put the word "think" in there, or no, maybe that's somebody else. But it wasn't just yes, you have no chance.
It
But
was remarkably close though. He tried to soften it, but I think everybody involved knew that it meant zero chance.
I think the reason I think it's harsh to say it was 0% chance is because probably if you just remove Arin from the season, Dong Ho would be interested, right?
Right.
And to say somebody has a 0% chance is to almost be saying like, oh yeah, I'm not interested in you, or it can come across that way for sure if you say it like that. So I think this is kind of like, yeah, I I I do like you, but I like Arin a lot more.
Yeah, like given the current circumstances, she has 0% chance. It's not like a judgment call on her. It's like entirely based on where he is.
If you say it in the wrong tone, it could totally sound that way though. If you're
Yeah, but
in
I think
Kaylin's
he towed the
position.
line appropriately. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then Yujin and Jong Ho get the montage of Yujin is like trying to have a serious conversation over and over again, and then Jong Hoon is just like trying to do the activities of the date.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And we don't even see this until we get the next day text across, and it's like in the morning, and then it flashes back to their date. Like that's how inconsequential
Yeah.
it was.
It was honestly, it was pretty good. Like this, if this basically we don't need to see this date, right? But they
Right.
showed a funny segment. It was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, Jong Hoon just doesn't seem interested at all. Is what it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then we got Sion and Jongsu.
Yes. I think like straight off the bat, he's being kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like where he's just like asking about how much she drank with Junso the night before, and like if anything happened or whatever.
He's being super weird. Even the like obsession about this one moment where she was on a date with another guy, but happened to be sitting next to him, and she chose to put her head on the guy she was on a date with instead of him. And he was like, that told me everything I needed to know.
Yeah, he's real fucking dramatic, and it's red flags all over the place for me. I would be totally out on this guy at that point.
I kind of like the season's so bad. I'm like not that interested to go watch like usually they release like a YouTube video of like the group of guys,
like unreleased stuff.
No, like the group of guys and the group of the women are like watching highlights from the show.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to just go watch it just to see his reaction to
so when they get in bed together,
the Jinsol and Sion in the bed. Because my God, he has no idea. He's just
like, imagine had she picked him at the end, and then the show comes out and he sees that like instant breakup if they were together. I feel like it's just like he'd be so bent out of shape about it.
Yeah,
it's not a good situation.
Yeah. All right, and then tell me if Sion actually said this, or if I'm being crazy. You can tell me if I'm crazy. It's fine. Because they kind of have this back and forth of like they're talking about how like she's been to paradise a lot, and there's like, well, you've been to paradise a lot, and then he's like, well, I just got like people just like drug me to paradise, is what he's saying, right?
Right.
And she's like, same for me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same for me. I totally didn't pick Junsu twice. That wasn't me. He made me pick him. Little rewriting the history books here once again.
But I will say, like, in this whole interaction, it feels like he's just like, for the most part, scolding her for like being on the show and doing the show and not taking any like responsibility for like truly had he behaved differently during that like hanging out at the campfire chocolate night or whatever, like she would have been just interested in him the whole time. Like it That's is fine. Truly his behavior that
I
has
think Jongsu sucks. You don't have to convince me.
I know, but like this whole time he's trying to be like, oh, well, I was just around waiting for you. It's like, no, you were upset you didn't get enough chocolate at that night. And then we're like, I gave it to 3 people and let me just, it was just.
She could have talked about that. She chose not to. Instead, she rewrote history to be like, I never didn't choose you. Every time I had a chance to choose you, Jungsu, I did. If you just forget about the 2 times I didn't.
No, I think. Oh yeah, wait. I didn't make a chart this time of when everybody chose everybody.
I know for a fact she didn't choose him twice, so it's fine.
She chose him 3 times technically. Like oh wait, no, the first time he just chose her. Forget it. Okay, twice. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And then she chose the other guy 3 times. But whatever. Like this is the fucking show.
Whatever. Fine. Like, yeah. If she feels like that didn't happen, I guess her emotions trump any criticism that you can give her. It's fine.
Like she's tired. Maybe she legit forgot what happened when.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Totally fine. All right. All right. They have dinner, whatever. They lie on the bed. I don't think they end up sleeping in the same bed, right?
No, he does like lay next to her for a while, but when you see them in the morning, like he clearly that he has been on the little bed. At least
Okay.
that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Do they need like curfews on this show? Be like, it's bedtime. Nobody can talk to each other. Get some sleep. Like, is that? Do we need that? Because it's not
Maybe.
like we have like these amazing scenes from this season where they all stayed up late and we got some like good tea on them like talking to each
Right.
other. Like that didn't
Yeah.
happen. So they just stood up.
Mhm.
They just stayed up late. It didn't add anything to the TV show, and now they're just exhausted.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
seems like there's something needs to be improved here.
Well, it might. I don't know. Like, I don't know how much of it is them staying up late versus like the date takes forever for them to film, and like we
But the
find out
Inferno people are
later.
exhausted too. That's why I say that.
Oh, are they? I guess I've just been paying attention to the people who have been saying they're exhausted who have been in paradise.
It is true. Not everybody's exhausted. Like Eugen's not exhausted, but maybe she's getting good sleep, and other people aren't. I don't know. Like did Dong Ho? I guess Dong Ho went to Paradise a couple
Yeah.
of times.
Mm-hmm. And I think he is like. It sounds like he's feeling sick, even like he's getting a cold or
That could be
something, and
true.
not
That could be
just
true.
like
Yeah.
super tired.
Maybe it's just the Paradise people are hella tired. It could be that.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we find out later that Halen and Dongho went bowling, and we see none of that. And so, like, maybe there's extra date activities that they
Yeah,
just
there's more that we're
don't
not
show
seeing. Yeah.
anything. And the production, like, process makes the whole thing run pretty late. And
Yeah.
then they're also probably like, we need to film you while you're, like, getting ready for bed, so stay up at least a bit, you know? I'm willing to bet it's a whole production issue that
Yeah, we
they're up
said
so
earlier in the
late.
season, like, oh, it'd be cool to see them do activities besides just like go to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to take that back. I'm gonna have to take that back. I think I was swinging a miss on that one. they,
Okay.
you know, they should just go eat, talk, chat. We get to see how they decide to sleep. It's always fun, and then
Mm-hmm.
get a good night's rest. Head back to Inferno where the real drama happens. Like I don't know.
All right.
The Paradise dates, we definitely said these in seasons past. Like the Paradise dates, are they really the best part of the
Yeah,
show?
I would
They don't have to
not
be.
this season. Yeah, yeah.
Like I don't know. If they give them more time to mingle on Inferno, like their stuff
Hmm.
should happen there. Unless there's just this like barrier, the barrier of being able to talk about stuff. Again, they
Yeah,
could just
people do get weird about that.
they removed the thing right on the last night, right? The agent
Hmm.
occupation stuff. Like remove that
Right.
earlier. Other shows do that all the
Yeah.
time. It's like by like day 2. Now we can talk
Hmm.
about agent occupation.
Yeah.
I think they could just take up that barrier sooner, and then real conversations can start happening on Inferno.
Yeah. And maybe it's the season just because like our quote unquote main characters have spent like every single time in Inferno, like or in Paradise, like we're not getting a lot of that interesting stuff happening back on Inferno because they're all on dates in Paradise, and everybody back home is not doing anything interesting
Yeah,
because
like we
they're
never
not
got
main
a
characters. Yeah.
yeah, like we never got a Sion in Inferno with like the 3 guys. Like if Sion doesn't win this game, and say like Sion and Minsol don't win the
Hmm.
game, right? Then all 3 guys and Sion are now at Inferno. Again, she probably just goes breaks up with Theo. Like she might even break up with Jongsu. Who knows? do we
Yeah.
do we know why? Do we ever get an answer why Sion picked Jongsu for this date?
She during their conversation says that she's still been confused, and so she picked him to figure out who makes her laugh more, feels happier, and like has a
Okay.
better time with.
So Jongsu actually had a
And
chance here, and he just like
yeah,
fucking blew it. Okay,
yeah, he decided
that sounds
to
right.
have a conversation about his feelings about her leaning her head on somebody rather than like trying to woo her or like just have a really good time.
Yeah. Okay.
Even though she told him the like parameters for winning, and he went, nah, not into it.
Yeah.
So whatever.
All right. That sounds right for Jongsu. All right. All right. Actually, wait. I had a moment though. I was like, wait, did they sleep in the same bed? Because she says, "Did we box in our sleep?" As if they were in the same bed and they were like
Oh.
kicking each other. But I don't know. There was also a bed near. It was. I think it was the same room that she slept. That the bonus scene was with Theo, and like the bed, the side bed was
Maybe the
against
bed
the
was
bed.
just
I don't
there
know.
and
I
ready.
actually
I don't
don't
know. I don't
know.
know. That's true. We don't know.
That was the only weird comment that made it seem like, oh, maybe they did sleep in
Mm.
the bed. Also, like they show her going to sleep on one side of the bed, but she wakes up on the other side, which I thought was
Yeah.
weird.
Which makes more sense if he slept in the little bed and she just rolled on over,
I Yes, yeah.
Oh, but I think when we see her falling asleep, they're just getting down for a quick nap before they have to go do something else. So that's probably what it is.
It seemed like they were going to get back up after lying down, but we never see that. I don't
Right.
know. Who cares? It doesn't even actually matter. I was just curious.
Okay.
All right. Uh, fuck the Paradise Dates, man. What's going on, Inferno? Oh, Minsol
The,
and Jinsol lose rock paper scissors and have to do the dishes together. This was my favorite part.
yes.
This is my favorite
And
part in these two episodes.
she's just like, "Oh my god, it's fate." But then
Yeah.
somehow in their conversation, she's like, "Oh, he's just fully on Sion now," and gets sad. Like she makes herself sad during this process.
She doesn't really get sad until like the final, or she doesn't cry at least until like the final fire thing, and then we get to
Yeah.
see her finally crying confessional. Still, I thought they were cute to watch in this very brief interaction that they had together.
Yeah.
So still my favorite.
Mental has been fun to watch this whole season, even though
She's
she
great.
is a little delusional sometimes about what's actually happening with him, but it's been fun.
I mean, I don't. You really think it's like she's like hardcore convinced that Jinsol was gonna pick, like, is still going to pick her? I don't think.
I mean, she's definitely holding on to some hope, or at least present, like she's saying the things that are
I think it's
like
reasonable. You know, it's like he can still like me, even though he likes the other girl more. It's fine.
I mean, literally, he broke up with her yesterday, right?
Yeah,
And said he sees her as
I
a
call
little
it that,
sister.
but I called it that to make it more dramatic than it is. But yeah,
No, but like at this point, like she should like. I feel like he made it pretty clear that he just thinks of her as a little sister or
so you
whatever.
removed
Like,
Sion from the show. You don't even think Minsol had a chance if Sion's not even on the show.
no, I'm saying that given
There
the
you go.
current circumstances.
Oh yeah,
But
I don't think
that's
Minsol thinks Jinsel's gonna pick him, but it's like I can still show that I'm interested in him, and who knows in the future.
okay.
I think that's a great outlook.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just she is kind of funny when she's like talking to the other girls and it's like, oh, you think that means he'll pick me, right? You know,
Yeah, I didn't
when
take her
it's like
seriously.
everybody is
Do you think she was
clearly
serious when
not.
she
Yeah.
said that? I don't know if she
I
said
don't know that
seriously.
she's entirely serious, but it
Did
is
she?
funny and it has been enjoyable.
That's
to
some
watch.
dumb shit I would say. Like, just be like, oh, he's totally gonna pick me now. Yeah, he's gonna pick me now because Sion's not gonna pick him. So what's he gonna do? All right. All right. Do you want to talk about Gion Taehwan stuff? Is that what's here?
Well, we do get Jian talking to Aaron about her general feelings of maybe
Oh
Taewon's
yeah.
completely full of shit, and Aaron seems totally shocked.
From Aaron's
Apparently,
perspective, yeah.
yeah, all the
From,
girls think that Taewon's just super genuine and like the most into her.
I think that's fair, right? Like like we don't like Taehwan, right? And maybe he's not good at showing an interest in Jiyoung, but that might just be how he like genuinely is. And maybe also from Aaron's perspective, and maybe the other women, if they're being included in this, like they might just be saying, "Well, he's not flirting with anybody else, so clearly
Yeah,
he's only interested in you." That might just be
yeah,
like the very
and they don't have
simplified
to
look at
listen
that.
to him talk the way that Jian has had to listen
Yeah,
to him talk. So yeah,
yeah.
it makes sense that that's what they think is happening.
Yeah. We find out. Did we find this out last episode? That I don't even remember the clip of this, but maybe I'm just forgetting it. That Taehwan actually said, "I have no interest in getting married," even though that because Jiyeon's goal in life is to get married and have kids. That's what her goal
He said
was.
something, maybe not that direct, but was more like, "Yeah, I believe in staying single," which is potato, potato. Sure.
Oh, he said that. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing. That's even weirder to say than not getting interested in
Yeah.
getting married. Yeah. I mean, he is going to confirm that he said this later. It was just weird that we didn't get to see the actual clip.
I think because they probably spent a lot of time on it last time.
Because I don't, if he said that, if he had said that, I would have been interested. You know, I'm all down. I'm in for it. As someone who's
Wait,
not married
what?
but is also has a wife.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in on this. So I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear Taehwan's side of this story. I want to hear his thoughts on this.
Well, the translation we got was "stay single" and didn't actually specifically reference marriage, so it's hard to parse if he meant
Okay.
like or just dating in general. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to get Taehwan's side of the story on this.
Oh yeah.
When
Let's
they talk.
just so like the next day they're washing dishes together and she's like, okay, I gotta bring this up because this is weird. And she's like, I think we might be incompatible because my big dream is getting married and you wanna stay single? Which also like, why are you on this show? Okay, weird. Um And then he says the dumbest shit I've ever heard come out of somebody's mouth on one of these shows, or maybe ever. Like, I don't, he says that he tends to be negative or say the opposite of what he means. And here is a quote. He says, but I think by saying things that disagree with something, I can actually show how much I agree with it. What the
I have
fuck
no
is
idea.
wrong with this man?
You managed to follow what he said way more than I did. I was just like, oh well, he had nothing interesting to say on this topic that I was interested in him saying.
Yeah,
Talking about.
truly, he was
Truly
trying to
nothing.
find a way to cover the shit that he had said and had no plan when he opened his mouth and then ended it with a bunch of stuff that made no sense.
Yeah, like we talked about this a bunch on the uh Love After Divorce. Is that what the name of the show is? Love After Divorce
Yeah.
podcast we did.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about marriage and how I feel about marriage and everything. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm down. Like if you think like the idea of marriage is silly and you don't really want to partake in it, but you still like are a person that wants to have a partner, obviously, I'm fine with
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was given an opportunity to like give his reason, and yeah, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So, like, yeah, he said something about you're saying like he wants to remain single and maybe didn't say marriage, but like if you actually were against marriage, like there would be a reason, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he is not telling us what that reason is.
No.
I don't know if it's because he doesn't want to say what the reason is, or he just never thought about it before, but somehow was against it. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I think he truly doesn't really care about being in a relationship or anything and came on this show because he's trying to build his culture and be the king of it or whatever and is trying to get his name out there and got caught in telling her too much of the truth and then was trying to come up with a lie and said some dumb words that made no sense.
Yeah.
And then like he had a moment to think about it and then he's like, "Oh, well, I think what I was trying to say is that I'm looking for somebody who would change my beliefs, to try and make it sound more like romantic or something like
Yeah, I
you're
caught that
you're
part. And I was
potentially
like,
such a good person that I've changed my mind about everything."
He's like stress testing the relationship to make sure that it's strong. I don't know.
He is awful and remains awful and is full of shit and yeah. And she like her face is just kind of like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure." And I mean, she picks him in the end, but
I was about to say he's so bad that he's going to be left on the beach.
But like, I mean, we'll get to it when we get to it. But her face then that's a lot too. Yeah. I think. So yeah, surprised Taewon continues to be terrible.
All right, the people get back. I did catch that Jong-hoon goes straight to ask Haejin, "Hey, how you doing?" Right away, because he wasn't interested in Yujin. He's the person in paradise. He's coming back, checking in on the person he's actually interested in. All right.
Yep.
All right, let's cut to Sion now. How did Sion take Sion's approach to being the one coming back from paradise? A little bit different.
I guess she's expecting Junso to make the first move, and because he doesn't, then she's just like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, even though she's the one that picked a different guy.
Yeah.
With the intention to give him a legitimate chance to win her over.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, I think as just like a rule, like the person coming back from paradise maybe is the one that should
check in with
do the comforting on the relationship, be like, yeah,
if anybody's feeling really vulnerable and bad about things, it's probably the person who got left behind. Oh yeah.
So yeah, there we go. Just more on the pile of things, actionable things, not having to do with narrating a story, her own story. It's just so
she very much wants to be the one receiving the attention, not giving it, so
and she has problems with people doing things that she does, but if she does them, she expects other people to not have problems. It's cool. Great. All right, episode 12. Truly nothing happened in episode 11. Truly.
I mean,
let's see if anything
Dongho
happens.
Did some breakups. That's what happened.
Minsol and Jungsu talked again, and that was the highlight for me of this entire episode. All right. I wrote down a bunch of conversations, like this person talked to this person, and then wrote no notes about that conversation. So anything you want to talk about?
There's a whole day
12.
of like free time dates. Okay, so we got Junso and Cheon have a little conversation, and he is, I'm gonna say, laying it on thick, at least as far as he's concerned. Like, he's saying nice things to her in a nice way and sort of being a little corny and like
Like a
making
nice
that
person.
last. Yeah,
He's being like a
making
nice
that
person.
just a little bit. Just making that last like appeal of like, hey, don't pick that other guy. You should pick me.
Yeah, sounds like the
And
move.
she seems real into it. So there you go.
It does seem like she might have been okay. Overall, like I almost wanted her just to pick Jungsu just for the two people I don't like picking each other. Fine.
Uh-huh.
But like if I was choosing between Sia, like her three options on the season, like I would have picked Junseo. So I can't really fault her for picking Junseo. You know.
No, I would have picked Theo. 100%.
Yeah, I still think I still yeah, nothing about Junseo has triggered me. I think overall he's been one of the
Even without the like random things that have bothered me about him, like if I'm coming at this from the things that Shion told me that she's interested in, is Theo. You know?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. No,
even
I think for Sion, definitely Theo was the best based on what she told us about herself and what we've seen from her.
mhm.
I'm just saying if I can't blame her for picking Junseo if that's who I would have chosen myself.
Well, but
That's all I'm
even
saying.
like me myself between these three guys, like without the like me reading too much into Junso or whatever, like
Mhm.
he's just not my vibe. So I would have gone with Theo.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I agree. I agree from the bad narration that Sion has given us.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
seems like Theo's the one. Uh, I have to guess that there's some factors in there that like where they live or I don't know. I don't know what's missing.
Maybe.
Because yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like we're making this up, like we pointed out before. It's like she told
Mm-hmm.
us. Maybe it was just bad narration, but she told us. I think I swooned for Theo on the second date.
Yeah.
So I don't know. All right, anybody else talk? This is just
Dong,
very basic. To me, they were just
very
very
basic, yeah.
basic final episode of Singles Inferno conversations. Again, they've told us already who everybody's picking, except for Sion at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got Dong Ho and Aaron being cute, looking like a couple. He's picking out her accessories.
There you go.
Jungsu and Cheon, they don't talk about anything, but they just take a bunch of pictures together. So he's dropping the ball again, I guess. I have Junso and Minsol, nothing of consequence. Those are my notes. So
I wrote down
nothing
some
new
stuff here
between
because
them.
I thought I was just happy they were talking again.
Yeah. Okay.
Or I wrote down we were talking about the like she found out that Sion might be picking Jongsu, according to
Mm.
who was confident that Sion was picking Jongsu. Some people were hella confident. It was like Dong Ho and somebody told
Oh, I
Minsol.
forget.
So
Yeah.
again, somebody told Minsol bad information once again, and then she was like, all I need is just the smallest fraction of hope, and I'm in. Let's just keep going.
Uh-huh.
Which I love that attitude. Yeah, she does talk from the 101. Yeah, I actually wrote, yeah, still nothing comes from this. I just thought I just enjoyed it in general that they were talking again. I wasn't sure. It almost felt like they were setting it up like, oh, maybe Minsol and Junsol are dating after the show. Like that they almost like made it Minsol's story seem like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know if that's the case, but I was like, sure, why not? It's not like I think this Junsol Sion thing's gonna work out. Why couldn't Minsol and Junsol date after the show? It's totally possible.
Well, I will say I did a little Googling.
Okay.
And the internet seems to think that Junso and Cheon are still together.
Oh, there you go.
So that's
Maybe the true selves are meant to be, and the characters I'm seeing are just not compatible. But yeah. Well, Minsol, you got plenty of time. As somebody who's lived through the one person is interested in somebody for a while, and then but it's not available, and then it works out.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a Minsol if you really.
But also, Minsol is
Minsol can go
released from
find
the
somebody
island
else.
and
Yeah.
find somebody else. Yeah,
Minsol will find
100%.
somebody else. But I mean, Jinsol's great. If you still like Junsol when he's eventually single again, go for it. All right. Anybody else?
We get some Taewon and Jiyeon time again, where he's just showcasing that stellar personality of himself. I don't know, he says some shit about his feelings and his thoughts are the most important things in like a really self-absorbed way. And Yeah, he's not. She's like still kind of expressing concerns. Like she doesn't think he's actually into her, and he never actually says, "Hey, I'm really into you." He's just like talking about how he talks and how she must misinterpret things. And oh, the other girls say that he's really like sweet with her. So how could she possibly be confused? And I'm like, man, the woman is telling you she's confused. So maybe just fucking listen.
Yeah.
Um,
If only there was a payoff to this story. That would have it would have been really nice if there was a payoff to this storyline in any
yeah.
way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had no notes. It was just more of the same.
Yep. Like she literally gives him another chance to ask her like anything, ask her anything about herself, and he's just like, "No, I learned everything I needed to in paradise." It's like, oh, okay, you have no idea how to express interest in another human at all.
Hey, he's not interested. I think he's genuinely not interested.
Yeah, yeah. He shouldn't be on the show. He came on for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, actually,
100%.
That's a good reason to say he shouldn't be on the show. If he
can't even pretend to be interested in someone.
Yeah, if he's not interested in like being married, but he still wants to like date people,
that's fine.
I'm fine with that. You can be on the show, yeah. But if he's like, yeah, he's at this point we've seen enough of it to be like, yeah, you're actually just like not participating in the getting to know each other aspect of the TV show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then we go swimming in the ocean.
Yes.
This is usually a fun scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I took no notes. I just wrote beach party.
Oh, I didn't write that Jinsaw climbs on the rocks like Tarzan.
Oh,
that's all I wrote.
Yeah, he did do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was fun. That was unique.
Yep.
Give me a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get to see people in the swimsuits. It's always a fun moment.
Oh yeah,
on the
that's
show.
always a good time.
That's basically what this was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they kind of tried to set up something where like Jungsu like walks away, and they were like, oh, he's upset about something. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
I still wasn't like, to be honest, I actually didn't really know who Sion was going to pick. I just wasn't interested enough to like think about it at this point. You could have told me if she had ended up picking Jongsu, I would have been like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I was not even trying to figure it out anymore.
When I went to watch the episodes on Netflix, the cover image had changed to a picture of her and Junsu on the beach walking to their first date. And so I was like, oh, she doesn't pick him at the end then. Like, you're still like trying to fool me.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I mean, for the final
for
pick,
taking Jongsu, that you're saying? Her and Jongsu. Oh, okay, I got you. Okay. All right. And then campfire night. We get to learn everybody's age and occupation, which we already know, but they don't.
Yep. And Yujin is confirmed as the oldest woman and is very pouty about it.
Yeah. I guess that was like the equivalent of, usually it's like some guy that's the youngest has been thinking another guy is the youngest, and then we get this like funny apology that needs to happen.
Yeah.
But nobody was wrong. Like, all the women were treating Yujin like she was the oldest, and then she just was. And then Yujin was still upset about it.
Yeah.
Or like in a funny way, but yeah. Yeah, but no major reveals here. We don't have to talk to anybody new because we've seen everybody.
Yeah.
Somebody asked Sion if she's decided, and then she hesitates for a long moment.
Yeah.
And says, I think so. So I don't know when Sion actually decided. It didn't seem like she was that, that decided even at the night before the decision.
Yeah.
According to that edit. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe Jongsu still had a chance at this point. I'm not sure.
I don't know why, truly.
Yeah, neither do I. But
fumbles so many times.
Also Theo's off the table, so we don't know why anything. That
would have been an amazing turnaround, though, if just at the end she went, nope, I made a mistake. Shouldn't have broken up with that man. Let's go with you.
Minsol does finally cry when she asked Jinsaw if he had a good time with her while they were here, as if to say, and then Jinsaw says, yes, of course. We talked all the time. It was great. But that got her to cry, Yeah. It was kind of a mix. I don't know what you would think. It was like a mix of like, oh, the show's finally over. I don't know. Was it tears of, I don't know.
I mean, I think she has legitimate feelings about this guy, and
that's what I think too. I think she legitimately likes him.
Yeah, and it's sad that it's not working out. Yeah,
like she made me feel something when she cried. I was like, oh wow, I actually feel bad.
Yeah,
I wish we could have seen more. Yeah, Minsole, season 5. Bring her back. We need her back here.
Okay.
If Junso's not in a relationship anymore, bring him back too.
Oof. But then if we go a whole nother season of him still picking someone else other than her,
I
would be
know,
heartbreaking.
that would be depressing.
I don't want to watch that. Oh, she's been through enough.
Do we need an all-star seasons of Single Inferno at this point? We've done 4.
Yeah, what determines their all-star status? Just
they were
fan
previously
favorites?
on the show, and they're currently not in a relationship. And they're not Guanyi.
Let's shove everybody who has been on this show and is currently single on a beach together. Let's go.
Maybe this podcast, the end of this podcast, can be us making the all-star season, and then they can do. They can just cast based on our what we say.
I'm gonna have to remember a lot of stuff from previous seasons.
Yeah, how many people that have been on this show would actually want to go on it again?
Oh, I don't know.
I
mean, depending on, it all comes back to motivation for why they wanted to be on the show to begin with. Because I don't think it's it's got to be more effective to be just normal dating in the real world, right? Like, this is not like some shortcut to finding a relationship. It is a stressful, weird thing, and you're just trying to be on TV, right?
It can be. I feel like it can be a shortcut in a way where, like, you go on the TV show, and if you like present yourself as very likable, you could not match with anybody, but then, like, people know who you are that are around you, and maybe it could lead to some interactions that could lead to something outside the show. In addition to, you could match on the show, right?
I guess.
Even romantically, it's like advertising in a way. If you do a good job of presenting yourself in a likable way.
Yeah. That is an important aspect, yeah.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
Would people actually want to go on?
Yeah, I think a lot of the people that went on the show probably would be like a new point in their life where they no longer need to go on the show, or like going on the show wouldn't do more than it did for them the first time, probably.
Yeah.
So, and anybody that want to come on, it's probably just like they like being on TV, or potentially they think they could actually find somebody. But yeah, I don't think we actually need an all-star season of the show.
Yeah.
But if you want to bring back Minsole, I'm good with that. Yeah, I wrote down maybe Minsole is my new favorite contestant ever in the singles Inferno history.
Wait, previously who would it have been?
Well, I said it after like the first 4 episodes. I said Junso was my favorite character.
Oh, right.
My favorite character, yeah. But Minsole might be like my genuine favorite contestant. But that's like, not really remembering a lot about previous seasons. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think she's a solid pick, yeah.
Yeah.
She, is fun to watch and is actually feeling things, which is my low level of requirement for being a decent genuine character.
When she finally cried, it felt very genuine and deserving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful moment. Well, depending how you look at it.
It was kind of sad.
It made me feel, which is, that's hard to do sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. Final selections. We're back to season 1 and season 2 format. The women are waiting. Guys choose. Then the women choose among the guys that pick them. I don't really know how the women. I don't know the mechanic for the women walking away without anybody. If they have to choose somebody else. The way it was
announced was that made it sound like the women have already picked.
Okay, so you have to choose somebody that's not going to pick you if you want to leave by yourself.
I guess it does not explicitly say that they cannot choose no one. But it's probably production probably makes them pick somebody.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if they were just like, "Come on, Gian, just pick him. Just pick him." Who cares? 100%. You don't have to date the guy. Just fucking pick him. I don't know why they edited the show. I think a much better conclusion to this story would have been her not picking him, and if they did pressure her into picking him, I think that was the wrong choice.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe production just has a weird pro DJ agenda, and they just want to make sure he gets someone at the end.
I did not write down the selections because guess what? No surprises. Really, Jiyoung leaves with Taehwan. We set that up as a potential thing. I wrote boo in my notes.
She did look physically pained to pick him at the end. Even as they're walking away, he's like, "What was that face you were making? It made me feel like you weren't gonna pick me."
Do you think she was that her way of making the moment dramatic, or you think it was actually painful for her?
I gotta believe it was genuine because otherwise, what the fuck is happening?
I like that read too. And then Sion picks Junso, which
Yeah,
is not that surprising,
yeah, not
but
that surprising.
also not
But
that fun. And not that the other choice would have been fun either, but
yeah. She had just randomly like taken back her breakup with Theo and picked him. I would have enjoyed that. That would have been a fun
I would have
end.
enjoyed that and also been like, what the fuck was the edit of the TV show? Why?
Also, yes, yes.
I wrote whatever end of season. And that's how I ended my season 4
Mm-hmm.
of Singles Inferno notes.
We did get two other couples, but we knew we were getting,
Oh my
Aaron and
god.
Dong Ho and Heijin
Wow.
and Jung, whom they picked. They stayed with their very predictable picks. So good job, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. What what can we do to make this show better? Well, I don't think the show has nothing to work with here in terms of what they decided to do and what ended up happening here. Maybe they had nothing to work with, and that's why
Mm-hmm.
This sucked. But they can do things to make it better, and I think we should discuss that so that this
Yeah.
podcast is more than 45
Yes.
minutes.
Yes. So, I mean, first of all, I think you're right about shortening it. Like especially like near the end, it's like what are we even doing anymore,
Yeah.
Um, I think if we spend less time in paradise, like I feel like every day they went to paradise, right? Was there any days when there was maybe
Uh
one day when everybody had to stay home? I feel like in previous seasons there were more days when like maybe nobody went to paradise.
I think there was at least one day they didn't, and it was probably the chocolates day.
Yeah.
I think you're right. There might have been less before. They have more people on the show now too, which is you would think more people would lead to like more indecision, but somehow
Yeah.
it hasn't. I don't think getting rid of people is the solution though. I don't think
No.
that's it. I think the amount of people is fine. We definitely talked about the balance. I mean, this one really haven't improved this season necessarily, but the balance six and six feels right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to start out with 5 and 5 and then add 2 game changers.
Yeah. What do you feel about the beginning where we start off on the separate islands? Because like some people didn't meet anybody until like day 3 or whatever, right?
Yeah, Jiyoung.
Which kind of
Jiyoung
and
did nothing for. She
was
was
it
by
also Aaron?
herself for a night.
Oh, that's true. She
Now
was by
Aaron
herself for a
won
night.
the game to go by herself over early, right?
Oh, right.
It was just Jiyoung that got screwed because she didn't get to pick. She got to meet Theo and Jongsu, but she didn't get picked, so then she had to stay at night by herself
Hmm.
on Losers Inferno.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think that had any effect on anything?
I her having to stay that night by herself was definitely unnecessary. The mechanic of people, I kind of like just like, hey, pick somebody to go to paradise, and you don't even get to talk to them because I think people are probably more likely, like if you give people a chance to mingle, like they kind of did in
Mm-hmm.
the first seasons, they're probably gonna figure out who they liked, and we definitely got, for whatever reason, they're just going to decide probably who they like the best. And we've seen that in years past where like people really just get hung up on somebody that never picks them
Yeah.
in return. And we don't have that as much here, right? Where I think anybody that got hung up on somebody in this season was justified in the feelings were reciprocated to some degree, right?
Yeah.
Like Minsol, Junsaw thought about Minsol, and they had a good repertoire. It wasn't totally
Right.
like if you go back to season 1, the story was very much like the chef guy just liked this girl for some reason, and I don't. It just seemed to be a looks thing, right? It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, and
Yeah.
he was just obsessed. Like he only was interested in her the whole time.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, and then this season, the other one, what's the other one? Where Theo is into Sion, right? Pretty
Yeah. Yeah.
at
Mm-hmm.
some point becomes only interested in her. But Sion told us that that was a real thing, so it wasn't one sided really.
Yeah.
So we didn't have that problem, and I think forcing people, or not forcing them to, but like having people go on a paradise date with somebody only based on their looks kind of like jumbles it a little bit, where like now people have like been forced to make a connection before they have really talked to the actual person that they're going to make a connection with. And I think that's good. And to the point where like why not just like the guys did a game, right? And the winner, the top two got to pick. Why not just everybody gets a paradise date?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Like either randomly assign it with like you're picking the colored balls out of a bag, or just power rank one of the genders and then they get to pick and like draft until we're out of people. Like everybody goes on a date day one to paradise.
Yeah, the game part is actually pretty insignificant, especially since they didn't even show us the game, right? Like they didn't think it was significant enough to show us because the women weren't watching it, I guess. But yeah, I would say just randomly draw for a draft order, and then the men show up and just pick from a menu in order. Last person gets whatever's left over. It sounds objectifying, but I think it would make everybody make a connection with somebody that potentially they would not have made a connection otherwise if they were given the chance to just mingle and decide for themselves who they liked after more information. And as much as I was frustrated with Sion's narration of her emotions, having to go with Jungsu on the first date and then having to go with Theo on the second date when Jungsu wasn't an option, right? And then discovering that once she's met everybody, oh, maybe Junsol is actually the person she likes the most, probably led her to being confused and thus becoming the main character of the season. And I think that's good. I think it's like I think it's good. I don't mind if people are waffling between people. Our frustrations were with how she decided who to ultimately pick, and then other things that I've mentioned for me personally being triggered. But I think the first impressions only looking at somebody dates I think they're good. I think they are a good tool for production to use to jumble the emotions and make good TV.
We talked before about not letting people go to paradise with the same person twice.
Yeah.
Again, before I think that would be a good add that in there too.
I kind of like that too. The risky part of that, I can see some drawbacks of it where, especially this season with like Sion, like she went with the three guys she's interested in, is forcing her to go with a fourth guy.
She didn't have to try so hard to win all those games.
Yeah. We talked about this in the last episode. Like maybe she just shouldn't be allowed to play the game.
Yeah.
Or just say like, hey, what I've been saying the whole time is like production can talk to Sion. She says, these are the only three guys I'm interested in. I don't really care to like try to connect with a fourth guy, and production would be like, all right, you're good. You don't need to go to paradise anymore. And they can just make that call, and I'm fine with it. They don't have to. It does. They don't have to make it a game or tell her to throw a game or whatever. Yeah. Are there any other downsides that I could think of? Yeah, because you can always just
throw away your
theoretically if you're not interested in anybody. Yeah. But there's a mix of like, okay, say you went to paradise one time, and now that's your person, right? And then you're telling production like, oh, I'm not interested in anybody else. This is my one person. Are you then like not allowed to go to paradise the rest of the season, or should production force you to go to paradise with somebody else because you're not interested in enough people? Like I think if you're telling production I'm down to one person, then wait, I think I actually put this in my notes. So I said production should take more control of paradise dates. The participants should be telling production and confessional how many people they have feelings for. So is it multiple people or is it just one? If it's multiple people, like there's so many things you could do. You could do a group date to paradise. That's what they do on The Bachelor. Like on The Bachelor, I'm pretty sure, at least back when I watched it, like the bachelorettes would just like get a thing and like get a thing in the mailbox or something, and it would say like this person are going on a group date, and it was like there was no rhyme or reason to it, right? Theoretically, behind the scenes, the Bachelor is like talking with production, and it's whatever dates their combinations of people on dates, like it's a combination of what production thinks will be good TV and what the Bachelor who the Bachelor is like
interested
actually
in.
interested in. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
combination of both somehow. Like, would it not have just been great to at some point this season just see Sion go to paradise with like all three guys, or
Yeah,
like,
that
or
probably would
just
have.
stay
Yeah.
on Inferno with all three and
Mm-hmm.
remove the constraints of conversation?
Yeah.
That would have been great. And so yeah, so if you're interested in multiple people, production should be trying to like feed that storyline
Right.
in whatever way they can, I think. And don't make it so easy for someone to settle. Now they might just settle anyway. Like if you go on a group date and you realize someone's the best or the other two suck or whatever it ends up being, it can still happen.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
it's like we saw with Sion so many times this show. It's like she definitely favored the person, at least for like the first 10 episodes. Like she's favoring the person she's seeing the most.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And I don't think that's like unique to her. I think everybody might have that to a degree.
To some degree.
Yeah. But if you say like I'm only interested in one person, then it might behoove production to like maybe force you to go on dates. I don't know. Force isn't the right word, but like
put you in situations with other people just to see if they can stir some stuff up.
Especially, I feel like I don't know what extensive like not research, but like they diagnose the the compatibility of the contestants. I don't know if they do that on the show, but if they feel like they could do that a little bit, and then there's got to be some expert out there that could be like, okay, these two people seem like they should be a decent match, and if for whatever reason it's just not working on the show that they ever talk or go to paradise or whatever, just like try to come up with a way if they're two people that are not main characters in the show, like come up with a way for those two people to
put them in a scenario together,
make go to paradise together. Yeah. Who cares? I don't care. Even if it's as simple as that, just like somehow we've decided these two people are going to paradise. If maybe I guess it sucks if they wanted to stay back on Inferno with the other one person that they are telling production they're interested in. So it's hard to come up with like hard rules of what to do. But currently, other than the double date, which was clearly manufactured by production, which I thought was great, you can tell they're just not doing anything right now. Right. They're solely just going off of these arbitrary games, which tend to favor the same people every time, right? Sion literally wins every one.
Maybe if you win a game, you don't get to play the next game. Anything.
Oh, you can only
break
win.
That up.
You can't.
I would say like in terms of like the first season, I kind of remember that you couldn't pick the same person to go to paradise back to back. It wasn't ever again. So it was, but like they had some more rules around it before, and then they got rid of them.
So it's set up the same, I think, this season, but they do it like through the mechanics of the two islands. So like the people that went first couldn't go again the second time because they weren't on the same island to pick each other. But then after that, it opened up like the season 1 and season 2. That I think, if I remember correctly, it was just like the first two you couldn't pick the same person.
Okay, yeah, maybe you're right.
But in season 1 and 2, it was, or at least in season 1 for sure, it was like the person is still there to be chosen by other people. You're just not allowed to choose them.
Which feels better because then you have to see them getting chosen. Maybe I guess you see everybody coming back eventually. You might figure it out, but I don't know. It just seems like there's an extra angle of something there.
Yeah, I don't think the two islands is necessary outside of we just need to like if we want paradise dates to happen like as the first thing on the show, they just can't mingle. You could just have one island and then off screen the men have like played some sort of lottery to decide who goes first, and then they show like the women show up on the beach and then the men show up one by one and choose people, or the other way around. The women should just choose the women next season. The women should just choose from the menu. That'd be good too.
Oh, that night that Jiyeon was alone, they should have just brought all the game changers over and had her pick.
That would have been better. Game changers? What do you mean by
all the game changer guys? When Jiyeon was alone.
Oh, the three game changers. Yeah. I don't hate the. We don't hate that that twist either, right? Where it's like, okay, if you're gonna add a game changer, let's add somebody that the people with nothing going on.
Yeah.
But we talked about it before. Like we we want the
You have
people
to
that
eliminate the
don't.
very
Yeah.
popular people.
If you're telling production that you're legitimately interested in multiple people, and production can kind of tell, like, okay, those people might also be interested in you, you don't need to be part of the game changer vote. You know,
Yeah.
you got enough
Mm-hmm.
going on the show, and whoever the other women pick, you could still end up liking that person. It's just you didn't have a
Yeah.
say on who got. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have a say on who shows up. All right. I'm gonna throw this out there.
Okay.
That's just a question. I don't necessarily agree with what I'm about to say.
All right.
But the last two seasons,
Mm-hmm.
this might just be more personal to me and not actually anything the show needs to change. But should the show do a better job of making people who match look less bad? Because it's just, and again, this is to be personal. I mean, like, I think a lot of people, at least more people, might agree with the Guan Hee, how we feel about
Mm-hmm.
Guan Hee. Some people, I
Yeah.
think, still like Guan Hee as a character on the TV show, and they enjoyed him from that aspect. But I very much felt the same ultimately in the final selections that I did last time, where it's like, I don't care. I didn't care who was Guan Hee was picking by the time we got
Right.
to it. And for me personally, I didn't care who Sion was picking by the time we got to it. Um, and yeah, Sion might be more particular to me.
Was it just because of not liking Sion as a character, or not really care? I mean, because you liked Junso, so you
I like
thought,
Junso, but as the characters were portrayed on the show, they did not seem to be a good match.
yeah.
So it wasn't something to root for.
Okay.
Uh, so and then the other, we agree that we don't like Jongsu. So
Right.
either way, it didn't feel great. I guess last season it was more of just like, I don't give a shit about Guan Hee or what he thinks about anything. So why do I care about
Mm-hmm.
his decision?
And I was actively angry that anyone picked him. Yeah.
Yeah, and then three people picked him. Or was it three or four?
I don't
It had to be
remember.
only three. It was only three, right? Okay, I don't
Uh,
actually know. Um, yeah, I don't know if that's actually what you want to do, but just in terms of the reason I love season two so much is because it's set up as, or again, this is again how I interpreted it. Where if you go back and watch, I was heated. I was pretty heated in the second to last episode of
mm-hmm.
that, if I recall, because I just viewed Dex at the time, and or no, his name was like Jin Young at the time,
Yeah.
but isn't it Dex from the host on
Yeah. Yeah.
season
Yeah.
3 and 4, and then I'm forgetting the other guy's name, but the other guy that helps Dex like team up on the guy,
Oh, yeah.
and they had this whole conversation before the thing, and yeah, obviously from my reaction to see on this season, you can see how I am not a fan of that.
Right.
Um, so to me, when I was watching it, it was like those guys are the villains in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to say like they're bad people or whatever, but in the story of the show, they're the villains. And at the end of that story, the main girl did not pick the villain. She picked the hero.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it almost felt like they were like trying to make Solgi's decision for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very ugly to me. And then Jongwoo was like the hero, who I don't really recall anything in the show ever like triggering me to like not like him. At least
Oh,
at a
yeah.
very minimal, like I just didn't see anything that I didn't like about him. So he was like by default just like the hero to me of the story, and he
Mm.
was just the guy that was like kept being nice for whatever reason. He couldn't get a paradise date until the very end, where he got super lucky and actually got one.
mm-hmm.
And it was just a great story to see for me personally. And for whatever reason, the last two seasons, I just, the main person's decision at the end, I just could not care less, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that means they should trick us into liking them, or
I don't want to be tricked into liking people. I'm all about like, just let these people be the terrible people they are. If they're terrible people, I would more follow the direction of just cast better. I guess I don't know how you figure out how you cast better for this, but I don't know. I don't like some of the things we talk about changing to make the show better. I do worry that there's a line, then it just becomes an American dating show, which is not the vibe I'm here for.
It'll never be an American dating show because they're not going to behave like Americans. Like I watched episode 1 of The Bachelor. Like they're kissing The Bachelor on night 1. Like it's never going to happen on the show. It's never going to happen on the show. So I wouldn't worry about that. Or I don't know what do you mean when you say like I don't want to see an American dating show? What are you worried about specifically?
I mean, I like the idea of this being more authentic. I don't know that it is, but I am skeptical of these kinds of shows to begin with. And there's, I don't know, something about probably just the way everybody behaves a little bit chiller that it makes me feel like it's maybe more realistic that some people actually are here to find a date or whatever, and it's not all just, hey, I'd like to be on TV and be the biggest character possible. And if then the show is just gonna like manipulate things to make people seem better, then that it kind of loses the sense of authenticity that I'm desperately trying to pretend is there.
Yeah, I agree. I was just kind of throwing it out there as I don't know how we can actually make this better, but that has largely been my frustration the last 2 seasons. I think on this show, I feel what you're saying, where I think overall each person is pretty genuine to who they are on the show. Like if we just if you just kind of get rid of Guanhee, I think overall, everybody is actually pretty genuine. Whereas I agree on like American dating shows, like there are definitely basically like, I don't know if they're production plants, but on a show like The Bachelor, it's like one guy and 20 plus women. Not every woman. Like it's a totally unreasonable situation that literally nobody goes through life and does. So the premise itself is unrealistic. And then on top of that, it's like, of course, there's some women on the show that are just here to be a character on a TV show. Like you can't expect 20. It's almost crazy to even cast like 3 people who might think, oh, this is a good way to to find the person.
I feel like bachelorettes on The Bachelor are just auditioning for their own season of The Bachelorette, right? Because that's how they pick them.
Kind of, yeah, to some degree. It is, very it is they cast in that way where they'll cast a bachelorette from The Bachelor as the Bachelorette, and then a bachelor from The Bachelorette will be the Bachelor of the next season a lot of times. What's good about the way they do that though, which I will give them credit for, is like basically when you're auditioning for the show, like say it's a season of The Bachelor and you're auditioning as a Bachelorette, they'll straight up ask you in the process of being casted, like, who is your like favorite person, or who's someone you would want to see from past seasons of the show. And basically they can choose a bachelor, and then everybody that shows up
is preemptively interested in him.
They already know they like him based on what they saw on TV already. So
interesting.
It's kind of neat from that perspective, where like, okay, they're not just casting women that they hope like the Bachelor, they're casting women that already say they like him. So it's like, okay, then that, it does make it juicier from that perspective. Now there's probably still some people that get on there that maybe don't care so much about him, but I don't think it doesn't need to be that. I don't think it would be that with any of the changes we're saying. Like we're specifically not asking production to like add people that are going to be characters, or just there to be characters. We just want them to take control of like basically making scenes that are valuable to the story of the show. Like that's honestly all I want. I mean, the whole 2 episode finale was essentially nothing. Like nothing happened.
Pretty much.
We got to judge people we already didn't like some more, right?
Which, I mean, is always a good thing, but that's about it. You can't have the whole show be that.
Yeah, at some point my mentals just kind of feel bad just doing that all day.
Fair.
But yeah. All right. Anything else? Anything else? Do you want to rank the seasons? Do your season rankings real fast.
Oh, season rankings. 2, 1, 4, 3.
2, 1, 4, 3. Yeah, okay. I would have to go back and check, but I feel like I've like subliminally convinced you that season 2 is the best one. But I feel like
Probably.
if we go back to like our podcast, I feel like of season 2, I feel like I
didn't
remember you
feel that
saying
way at the
season
same
1.
time.
I feel like you said even on season 2, you said that season 1 was better than season 2. I want to say
It's just been a while since I've watched
yeah.
either. But Nadine was on season 2 when we left Nadine. Nadine was fun.
Oh yeah, Nadine was on season 2. Oh, I did like Nadine, but then she picked then she picked Jin Young, who I described as the villain of the season. So I was more out on Nadine by the end, but I did like her for a while. I put if 4 and 1. I won't fight anybody on if like what was better, season 1 or season 4. My only guess is that if I just went back, like season 1 isn't going to be as spicy as season 4. Or maybe I don't hate the ending as much. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'll just agree. You said 2 1 4 3.
Yeah.
I wrote in my notes
2
4 question mark 1 question mark 3.
Okay.
I'll go 2 1. I'll go 2 1 4 3.
I mean, we can all agree that Guan He made season 3 the worst. So that's the easy.
The endings of 3 and 4 are so bad that yeah. I'll go 3 1. 2 1 4 3. There you go.
Okay.
Those are the official universal rankings of the season.
Yes. If
nobody would disagree
with it, you're obviously wrong.
Literally nobody would disagree with that.
Obviously, no one would ever disagree.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else we usually do at the end of these things?
Yeah, I don't.
Not that I can think of. We've probably done some other things before, but all right.
We did tier rank people once, but that wasn't for.
Oh, did we do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want to do that. It's too.
No, that's not this season.
It's too personal. All right. Oh, we did. I remember we did that because what did we do that for? Love that? No, Transit Love, like season
Transit Love, I think
2 or something. I think we did that because we were like trying to figure out like who were the people we actually would want to be casted.
Oh yeah,
and who wouldn't we want to be casted? I actually overall this season I don't really have that many complaints about casting. Like Taehwan, if he's saying like he just wants to be single, I don't know. Yeah, I think Taehwan was bad, right?
The worst. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like easy, did not need to be casted. Other than that though, I can't really
complaints
point
about
to
anybody
like,
else.
Oh, this
really,
one,
that's like
even though I don't like Xian, it's not like she was a bad choice to be on the show. Unless you're just gonna start casting, like I don't know, you would just have to cast people that you think I'm gonna like, but that's not like a thing that they're gonna do, right? Like, and those people, and they'd be like casting people I'm gonna like probably means there's not a lot of drama on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's easier to pick the people I do like when it's so obvious who I don't like. So I actually don't have huge complaints about casting. I am more inclined to chalk it up to they got them to be overly tired. The show's a little bit too long, shorten it up a little bit. And I think maybe and then, production takes a little more control. I think, this show could have been better with the same cast minus Taehwan.
Yeah, I agree. And even, like I don't like Taewon, but I did enjoy being snarky about him, so I can't complain too much. Just at the end, you gotta give people the choice to leave on their own. That's my one big ask.
You convinced me enough on Taewon to be like, yeah, he's like legitimately not even trying. Like I wasn't sure after the last podcast because I still thought like the scenes were edited a weird way, but these 2 episodes I've seen enough. I've seen enough to realize hey, they didn't need to be here.
Yeah.
It's not just like was there any woman on this season that he was actually going to be compatible with? Realistically?
No, because he's not there to be compatible with a woman.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But I mean, everybody's got somebody, and I'm not gonna be like
not everybody's got somebody.
Everybody
some people don't.
Everybody can have somebody, regardless of how you feel about them.
Okay.
But it just seems very unlikely that Taehwan, if you're only picking 5, I guess they got to 7 women by the end of this. Even if you're just picking 7 women to put on the show, is Taehwan really going to match with any of them? Legitimately, seems unlikely.
Yeah.
And then the one person he did manage to match with was like the one person who says their goal is to get married. Like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right.
We did it.
We completed 100 episodes.
Yeah,
We
good job.
completed
Congratulations.
Singles Inferno 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, it's time for a bit of a break.
Yeah. Of course, thank you to everybody who's listened and commented.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And
it's been real fun.
I hope people enjoyed the podcast more than the season. Is that possible?
That would be great. I would love if that were true. I don't know.
I would hope so. At least for this season, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not. Last episode was largely just me trying to make anything interesting. Is there any hope for anything interesting happening? So if I convinced you that maybe something interesting might happen, then that means maybe the podcast was more interesting than the show. All right. Yeah. That's been great to be able to talk about this. And I think the legacy of our podcast is Singles Inferno. We've talked about many other shows, other Korean dating shows, but I think really we are Singles Inferno. And we had a big high when this podcast was in its early days of Singles Inferno 2.
Oh,
what a great moment.
Absolutely.
And then unfortunately we've soured on the show a bit. But Sarah, if you want to, you're down to podcast season 5 of the show, I'm down.
Yeah.
It's just all the in-between.
The in-between stuff.
The in-between seasons of Singles Inferno, I think I need a break. If we're inspired to talk about something other than Singles Inferno, we might be back, but I would say we're going to go on a indefinite break until we find out there's a Singles Inferno 5. And then we'll be back. I think we can do that.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
So hopefully people who want to keep listening to us can keep following until the next season of Singles Inferno comes out. Yeah. Anything else you want to say, Sarah?
Yeah, just I appreciate everybody who's taking the time to comment. We've had people coming back through the whole, we've been at this for almost 3 years now. It's been a lot of fun, and but time for a little break.
Oh, here we go. Singles Inferno season 5 confirmed.
Ooh.
Global reality dating hit returns for more romance. Okay.
All right. I guess
that sounds like a lock.
Probably.
Sounds like a lock. We'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say, before I looked it up while you were talking, is there going to be a Singles Inferno 5? I don't know. I'd be curious if they get some episodes cut. Netflix is like, I don't know. Maybe
that's probably too many.
Maybe, but Netflix is so big, maybe they don't even give a shit anymore. It's like maybe they're just like, what's giving this one Korean TV show that's part of our brand a little extra money every season? Who cares? So.
Yeah, hard to say.
I don't know. I don't know if Netflix cares enough to be like, I don't know about that last season, guys. Maybe we tighten it up a little bit. They might not do that at all.
Yeah. Hard to say.
Yeah. All right. So next time we'll be talking about Singles Inferno 5.
Yeah.
Unless we're inspired.
Unless something else comes up. Who knows?
Yeah, I personally I'm looking forward to doing some other things for a little while.
Yeah. Same.
And who knows what the future holds for Singles Inferno. And I feel like we should change our podcast name to just it's just Singles Inferno now.
Keep watching Singles Inferno.
The whole keep watching. Let's just keep watching Singles Inferno. Yeah, I guess we're just stuck in this forever loop until Singles Inferno decides to finally kill itself.
Yep.
Or Netflix kills it. We're committed. We're only committed to Singles Inferno. That's it from now on.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds about right.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. Sarah, where can people contact us?
People can email us at keepwatchingpod@gmail.com, tweet at us at keepwatchingpod, Instagram at us at keepwatchingpod, or leave a comment under this video on YouTube also at keepwatchingpod. And feel free to leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And I don't know, tell us what you think they should do to fix the show or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. We know Singles Inferno comes listen to the podcast on the finale. Every finale episode, they listen to our podcast. They hear our suggestions.
They read the comments too.
They almost kind of maybe sort of.
They almost did Loser Island.
They almost kind of did Loser Island.
Yeah.
Loser Island. Not really. They didn't really do it, but you could see how they might have been inspired by our conversation.
Absolutely.
And of course, I think they also read the comments.
Of course. Yeah.
On our podcast. So if you leave a comment, who knows? Singles Inferno might find your idea. and use it. So let's definitely leave comments for suggestions for Singles Inferno.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for listening.
Yes.
We will see you next time in the future. Bye.
Bye.